Oh. Pardon me, I have heartburn. Hi friends, it's Lala. I'm doing a video I'm not excited about. This is super weird because you'd think that the opposite is true. That when I did the earlier video like 6 months ago, reading the lowest rated books on my TBR, you'd think that that would be the daunting task. When in fact, I was excited about that video. I was excited about reading those books. I wanted to see if I had an unpopular opinion about some really unpopular books. And this is a video that's taken me like 6 months to finally do for two main reasons: historical fiction and series. I, in general, do not read nor like a lot of historical fiction, nor do I like to continue in series. Does that stop me from buying those two things? No. I have a pretty good feeling that the highest rated books by everybody else on my Goodreads TBR are going to be historical fiction, because that is always critically acclaimed and wins all the awards. And series, just mathematically, subsequent books get higher ratings because the first book in a series is read by people who don't like it and rate it really low, and love it and rate it really high. And then the only people who read the sequel are the people who liked it. So naturally it's gonna get higher ratings because it's not like as broad of an audience. You get what I'm saying? I could be totally wrong. I haven't looked at this ahead of time. We're going to check my Goodreads TBR, which has over 400 books on it. And we're going to find the 5 highest rated average rating, the highest average rating, and I'm gonna read those 5 books. I have a bad feeling about this, and I have a feeling I'm gonna end up DNFing some of these books. I know it sounds weird. Why did you buy these books if you didn't think you were gonna like them? Because they're talked about so much, that's why. And then I see them at the thrift store for $2.99 and I buy them because everybody talks about them and I don't even know the plot. And then when I find out the plot, I find out it's historical fiction. And then it just sits on my TBR for 3 years. I have some guesses. There's gonna be some historical fiction. I don't even know if these are all historical fiction. I don't know what books are about. My number 1 guess is The Nightingale. If this isn't on there, I will be shocked. And I don't really want to read it. Oh, except I don't really know what it's about. I have a feeling Between Shades of Grey is going to be on here. So my first actual prediction is that these books are all going to be adult. If anything on the list isn't adult, I'm guessing it's going to be YA series continuations. None of which, like, I'm really excited about right now. Maybe Children of Blood and Bone. Maybe 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This is probably the only book in my guest stack that I hope is on there. Some of these books were also sent to me and I didn't actually pick them up by my own will. Do you like how long I've been talking just to like prolong the inevitable? Oh, and a rule that I had for myself last time that I never ended up needing to share with you because it didn't occur. But I have a rule that the book has to have been out for, let's say, 4 months, because a book that comes out this month or came out like 6 weeks ago might have a really high rating that isn't accurate. It's just people rating it early, having not actually read it. So I want to get the most accurate rating possible. Can I say something controversial? I actually hope some of these books I don't already own so I can go buy more. So I'm on my want to read shelf and average rating. I have a feeling a bunch are going to pop up that haven't come out yet. Okay, I was right. Books haven't come out yet. Okay. Okay, where's the first book? Oh, The Nightingale. Number 1 on the list. Not just on the list, but number 1 on the list. I knew it. Honestly, like, this just doesn't appeal to me. And I feel like to people that this really appeals to, they don't understand. But just books that look like this. Like, this looks like boring historical fiction. Oh, there's a map. I know it's historical fiction because it takes place in 1939. Does that mean it involves a war? In the quiet village of somebody, I can't pronounce any of these words, says goodbye to her husband as he heads for the front. Oh God. She doesn't believe that the Nazis will invade France, but invade they do in droves of marching soldiers, in caravans of trucks and tanks, in planes that fill the skies and drop bombs upon the innocent. When a German captain requisitions Vienna's home, she and her daughter must live with the enemy or lose everything. Oh my God, tell me they don't like fall in love. Without food or money or hope, as danger escalates all around them, she is forced to make one impossible choice after another to keep her family alive. Her older sister Isabel is a rebellious 18-year-old searching for purpose with all the reckless passions of youth. I'm falling asleep. While thousands of Parisians march, like, I know this is sad, okay? I know historical fiction, like, people love it because it's like moving and you know, it's real life and it's intense and sad and it teaches you stuff maybe. Blah, blah, blah. She meets someone, her sister, a partisan who believes the French can fight the Nazis from within France, and she falls in love as only the young can, completely. But when he betrays her, Isabel joins the resistance and never looks back. Is this telling me the entire plot? With courage, grace, and powerful insight, best-selling author Kristen Hanna captures the epic panorama of World War II and illuminates an intimate part of history seldom seen, the Women's War. The Nightingale tells the story of two sisters separated by years and experience, by ideals, passion, and circumstance, each embarking on her own dangerous path towards survival, love, and freedom in German-occupied, war-torn France. A heartbreakingly beautiful novel that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the durability of women. It's a novel for everyone, a novel for a lifetime. It's a novel for everyone. We'll see. It has such high ratings, so I should like it, right? Like, I should be excited to read it to see why everyone else likes it. That has a 4.56 average rating, by the way. Next on the list, please don't be historical fiction. Not That Bad, Dispatches from Rape Culture. When did that come out? May 1st, 2018. That's exciting. Do I own that? No. This has a 4.53 average rating, and it says, in this vulnerable and revealing anthology, cultural critic and best-selling author Roxane Gay collects original and previously published pieces that address what it means to live in a world where women have to measure the harassment, violence, and aggression they face, and where they're routinely second-guessed, blown off, discredited, besmirched, belittled, patronized, mocked, shocked, gaslit, insulted, bullied for speaking out. Let's see. The author list, I don't think it's anyone I've read from before. Gabrielle Union's on here. Okay, that's the second book on my TBR. Next, we've got Educated by Tara Westover. I meant to have that one in my stack because I was gonna hold up the whole stack that Chapters Indigo sent me last year of like the best books of the year that everyone's freaking out about, but I guess I didn't grab it. I'll be right back. I'm honestly surprised that, well, actually no, I shouldn't be surprised that there are 2 2018 releases on this list already, but that's probably because the majority of my TBR is from 2018. So everyone this year has been telling me to read Educated. When I hauled it, everyone told me to read it. Obviously Indigo told me to read it because they sent it to me. I say that I don't love nonfiction, but a lot of nonfiction that I end up reading really high. I just think sometimes it's boring to get through, so I don't pick it up. This is what a girl like educates herself. I've read the synopsis before. Tara Westover was 17 the first time she set foot in a classroom. Born a survivalist in the mountains of Idaho, she prepared for the end of the world by stockpiling supplies and sleeping with her head for the hills bag. In the summer, she stewed herbs for her mother, a midwife and healer. In the winter, she salvaged her father's junkyard. Gashes and concussions, even burns from explosions, were all treated at home with herbalism. The family was so isolated from mainstream society that there was no one to intervene when her brother became violent or when her father's Mormon beliefs drifted towards the extreme. Then, lacking any formal education, Tara began to educate herself. She ultimately taught herself enough mathematics and grammar to be admitted to Brigham Young University, where she studied history, learning for the first time about important world events such as the Holocaust. Her quest for knowledge transformed her, taking her over oceans and across continents to Harvard and to Cambridge. Only then would she wonder if there was still a way home. So not like super jazzed about reading this, but I mean, okay. It's not historical fiction, so I'm good. Next is Homegoing by Yaa Gyasi. Okay, I know I just sounded excited, and I know this is a historical fiction, but I'm excited because don't come for me, but at least it's like one of my, well, I guess most of these books are diverse. Homegoing takes place in like the 18th century. It takes place in Ghana, which I haven't scratched off my map, so I mean, that's exciting. Ghana, 18th century. Two half-sisters, Effia and Essie, are born into different villages, each unaware of each other. I have read this before. One will marry an Englishman and lead a life of comfort. The other will be captured in a raid on her village, imprisoned in the very same castle, and shipped off to America and sold into slavery. With breathtaking scope, Homegoing follows the parallel paths of these sisters and their descendants through 8 generations, from the slave traders of the Gold Coast to the plantations of Mississippi, from the Asante struggle against British colonization to the first stirrings of the American Civil War, from the jazz of 20th century Harlem to the sparkling shores of modern Ghana. Interesting that both of my historical fictions have involved sisters and their respective paths. I feel bad for not being like psyched about this one, okay? I'll get excited. These are gonna be great. But the last one is going to be A Man Called Uwe by Frederick Bachman. Where is that book? I think that one's in my closet too. So I own 3 Frederick Bachman books. One of them I've read, Beartown, and I liked it. And then I have A Man Called Uwe and whatever the grandmother one is. My grandmother asked you to tell you I'm sorry. She's sorry. Someone's sorry and there's a grandmother. This one is one of the ones that I've just picked up because people talked about it. I've never read the synopsis. I think it's about an old man named Uwe. At first sight, Uwe is almost certainly the grumpiest man you'll ever meet. A curmudgeon with staunch principles, strict routines, and a short fuse. People think him bitter and he thinks himself surrounded by idiots. Hi, Lola from the future. It's a couple days later. I haven't started reading yet. I'm probably not going to read until like later into the month. But I needed to update you because I messed up. Why did I keep saying Bachman? First of all, it's Bachman. Frederick Bachman. Right? See, now maybe I'm wrong. But noting that A Man Called Uwe is not on my TBR. I have to remove it because I don't know if anybody like clued in because they know how popular Crooked Kingdom is. Crooked Kingdom, I looked it up on Goodreads after because I was like, oh, how far off was I from reading Crooked Kingdom? Crooked Kingdom wasn't on my Goodreads TBR. Whoops. In fact, it has a higher average rating than every single book that I just mentioned. So it was either come on here and fix it and look stupid, or refilm it and fake my reactions to the books that showed up. Which, like, how would I do that? So my TBR has already changed because I'm dumb and I can't believe I didn't have Crooked Kingdom on my TBR. So Crooked Kingdom has a 4.6 average rating. So I was right. Like, this actually just reinforces the fact that I was right with one of my predictions that a fantasy sequel would be on the list because they always get higher ratings than the first book in the series. So my new TBR is now Homegoing, Educated, Crooked Kingdom, Not That Bad, and The Nightingale. That is my new TBR. So I'm starting my first book. I just got an audiobook for Not That Bad, Dispatches from Rape Culture. And I also requested the book from the library because it's not in stock in my town. Didn't really think ahead for that one, but at least I have Overdrive and the library and whatever. So I'm going to start listening to it tonight. I can't think of why I wouldn't like this one. Some of the other books, as we've discussed, are questionable. I am not super stoked to read them, to be perfectly honest. This one, I have no preconceived negative feelings about. So it's a good place to start. I picked up the book from the library, so I now have a physical copy to read. I am like 120 pages in so far. I mean, honestly, it's a 5 out of 5. I guess I would rate every story. I hate rating nonfiction, but I would rate them all a 5 out of 5 if I had to choose a number. Like, these stories are impactful and important and well read, like well written. But I was listening to the audiobook for the 120 pages and they're all really well narrated too by the people who wrote them. So I'm kind of mixed if I want to continue with the audiobook or keep reading. I'll probably do a mix, but yeah. First book, I get the high rating and I think it's It makes sense. We'll see by the end. So I finished my first book, Not That Bad, edited by Roxane Gay. There were so many more essays in here than I thought there would be. So when you go on Goodreads, it only lists, I think, 6 different authors. So I thought they were going to be lengthy essays, that it was going to be exhaustive to get through. That's just going into it what I was anticipating. But there was actually, I don't even know, 30 to 40 experiences. It was written in lots of different ways, like poetry, opinion pieces, experience-based pieces. There was even a kind of graphic novel comic in here. And I didn't like anything in here. This is such a difficult read. And extremely like graphic and thorough, and I'm sure triggering for a lot of people. Putting a numerical rating to people's lives is what I feel like I'm doing, and it feels wrong and bad, and I don't want to do it. So it was incredible. I highly recommend if you can handle it. I guess I'm giving it 5 stars. So I decided my next book is going to be Homegoing. I decided to go to the audiobook since I really just wasn't in the mood to read. I thought I would listen to Homegoing. All right, let's talk Homegoing by Ya Jessie. Basically, I just didn't love it. I want to give it 3 stars. It's hard with books that I feel like have a lot of literary merit and people clearly have rated really high for a reason. I know, I should have liked it. It's kind of like an anthology. There are a bunch of different characters, but they're all from the same family tree and you're following them throughout years and years. It's hard to explain my feelings because I feel like I was waiting for something, and I wasn't waiting for something to tie them together. They were all tied together because they're all from the same family. I will say, like, I don't want to be a dick. Like, if your only option is to listen to the audiobook, listen to the audiobook. But like, if you have the choice, don't listen to the audiobook. Reading it in physical form is so much better. You have the family tree you can flip to, which I feel like you might want to frequently. Seeing all the names and being able to connect them and connect each chapter with somebody was a lot more helpful than listening to it because I just kept getting lost. Which is why I stopped the audiobook. I was trying to listen to an audiobook for the first, I'd say third, and then I stopped. I want to give it a 3-star just objectively because obviously there's something that people love. And giving this a 2-star seems way harsh because it didn't do anything wrong. And I can't even explain like what I was looking for that was missing. So this is a difficult one. So I have these 3 books and I'm actually in the middle of filming my February video where I read 116 pages every day. And I'm in the last 2 days of that. If you watched that video, like, hi, shout out to you because you didn't know what I was reading when I was filming this same clip in that video. And I thought instead of like trying to figure out the math of like what 2 books make up 232 pages for the last 2 days, trying to find 2 books that are 116 pages, blah, I figured I would just start something and not complete it in February, which usually would not be okay. I'm not cool with reading a book over the span of 2 different months. Like, my brain just doesn't like to segment things that way. But it's okay in this instance because I'm doing it for a specific video and I don't actually want you in February to know what I'm reading because then it would just ruin this entire video. So I'm letting you know 2 of the books I read because I am mentioning them in February. You just don't know why I read them until this video. So I need to choose which of these I'm going to start. And I think what I'll probably do, because it's already so late at night and tomorrow is going to be exhausting, I want to start an audiobook so I can just like lie here and relax. I'm gonna pick Educated because this is the one I most want to listen to the audiobook for anyway. Hopefully it's on Scrimmed or Overdrive. It's been out for a while, but I feel like on Overdrive I'll have to go on the wait list for it, and my last resort is Audible. Tara Westover. Let's check Overdrive. Not on Overdrive, not on Scribd. Guess I'm getting it from Audible. Oh, just kidding. My visa expired and now my account, even though I have 2 credits, is not accessible. Okay, nothing wants me. Oh, you know what I could do? Actually read the pages. I don't want to. Okay. Well, the Nightingale is available on Overdrive. Oh, just kidding. It's an 8-week wait time. Okay, peeps, I'm reading Crooked Kingdom tonight. I don't remember a lot of Six of Crows, but I do remember all the characters. It's now March, so I read the first 200 pages of Crooked Kingdom. The first 100, probably, I was like super confused. I really should have brushed up, but now I'm more back into the story. I can't tell you if I'm loving it yet. We'll see. I'm not really thinking about this right now because I've actually moved over to the audiobook for Educated. This weekend I have a lot of time where I will be actively doing things where I can't be reading, but I can be listening to an audiobook. And since you saw this was the only audiobook that I could access right now, I fixed my Audible account, so I now have the audiobook for Educated. It says oh no, it says on the audiobook available only for Audible. I'm actually 24 chapters in. I have been working. I worked from home yesterday, so I could just like pop in some earbuds and listen to the audiobook while I was actively working. And then today I just like sat and did my makeup and curled my hair, and that took like an hour, so I listened to another hour of the audiobook. Then I did an hour of cleaning earlier and listened then. I guess I'm just over halfway through. So I'm reading both like Crooked Kingdom and Educated right now. Educated, it just doesn't interest me. Like memoirs like this don't really interest me when it's just little stories about someone's life. I mean, I am the target demographic for this, right? Probably like grown, middle-aged white women who want to hear about like the trials that another white woman has persevered through. It's fine, I guess. So I'm nearing the end of Educated and I don't like it. If I wasn't doing this challenge, I definitely would have DNF'd it. I've found out is written in 3 different parts. I'm just about to enter part 3, which I don't even know what it is. But part 1 was like her childhood, which I was okay with. I hate reading nonfiction. I just don't like the idea of putting a value on someone's experiences. And I know that it's not really about their life, it's more about the writing of the book. Can I say I don't think it's interesting? Like, it's sad, and her childhood had a lot of trauma. And like, I'm supposed to care about her. I'm a cold-hearted bitch. Right, I am ready to read book number 4 of this challenge, and it's the one that I already started reading. But I'm gonna start from the beginning again with Crooked Kingdom. I just reread the last couple chapters of Six of Crows, and then read a couple of reviews of it, so I could kind of just remember where we're at. I was honestly just like really confused by the beginning of this, and I did start to get back into it, but I had just forgotten so much of Six of Crows that I thought it was worth going back. So I'm gonna start from the beginning again and let you know what I think this time, because I think my initial impression was wrong and I don't want that to skew like my feelings about the book or my rating or anything like that. All right, I'm starting in on the Nightingale. I'm going into it just thinking it's gonna be the best book ever. Of all these 5 books, this has been on my TBR the longest. I probably picked this up, I could probably find the haul, maybe my second year on BookTube, so I was still buying a lot of stuff just because I'd heard of it and wasn't really sure what I loved. And now that I've read a lot more historical fiction than I ever have, I know that I don't tend to like it. But I don't know how to explain why, really. So at the end of this, I'll be able to either tell you why I love it or tell you why I don't think I like historical fiction, hopefully. So I'm at the halfway point of The Nightingale on chapter 21, and I have never been more bored during a book. So far, what I think about me and historical fiction is I can't really explain it. I think just like some people don't like reading science fiction and things set in the future, I don't like things set in the past. I just don't like reading about war times and people hiding out and trying to escape things and army soldiery people. There's one sister who wants to like stay behind and follow the rules, and there's one sister who's like helping out people to escape the Nazis, and I don't care about either of their storylines. I don't find them particularly interesting or compelling. I also really don't like I don't know if you call it a trope, but I don't like the storyline where there's like bad people and then one of the main characters like is falling in love with a bad person, whether like she just sees the good parts of him or he's like secretly good and just appears to be working for the bad side. I just don't like that dynamic. I don't mind like a hate to love type romance, but an enemies to lovers, that more specifically, I really hate it. I still don't know actually if it's going in that direction at the halfway point. We've gotten little like parts of that. I just don't like his character. I don't like his storyline. I don't like anything. I mean, the commentary on how people should and shouldn't be treated like so important. I just don't like the process of reading this. I think it's not something that I'm interested in reading about. Okay, I have now finished The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I hated it. No one is surprised. There was nothing like wrong with it. I'm not like, everyone is wrong, you should have rated it lower, this is overhyped. I recognize that this just isn't for me. So I want to give it like a 2, just so the whole world doesn't hate me. On to Crooked Kingdom, which I feel like these clips might have been confusing, but I'm pretty sure I've mentioned Crooked Kingdom a couple times, and I've picked up and put down Crooked Kingdom 3 times now. And I'm just gonna chalk it up to a subconscious want to complete and end this challenge on a high note. And I've been putting it off because I want to read the stuff I don't think I'm gonna like and end on a high note. That's what I have to hope, because it's just not grabbing my attention, but I haven't really been putting my full effort into it. So that's what I'm gonna do now, because I have no books left. This is it. All right, I am officially into Crooked Kingdom. I've been sucked in, I'm invested. You know what realization I made? It's that I actually listened to Six of Crows via audiobook, didn't physically read it. I think I started reading it and then listened to the audiobook, and for some reason just like reading the words was so like just wasn't connecting in my brain. All of the different like terms in this fantasy world, they just weren't clicking. They were making me just like not focus on the story. I don't know what was happening to me. But then at 100 pages, once Nina's first chapter I think happened, I was back into like my feelings, the way that I just like connected and felt like, ugh, so just invested in the Six of Crows book. Nina's chapter got me back into it. I'm at like the halfway point, so excited to continue with a newfound like love of the story. I don't think this is gonna be like a 5-star read. That's just my feelings. Like at the halfway point, I'm enjoying it. But if you're wondering like the whole reason I said that I don't typically read series, I just find it hard to care about the same world and the same characters and the same overall situation for more than like 400 to 500 pages. That's just me and my reading, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I know that you probably all think it's weird. It's like the same with TV. It's why I don't watch TV. It doesn't hold my attention. I could never be the type of person that watches 6, 7, 20 seasons of a show. Like that is just, I usually can't even make it through one full season. I just always want something new and interesting and different. And I'm glad this is a duology, although I think there's actually more coming. I still don't know if I'm gonna read King of Scars. Like, I don't know if I want more from this Grisha verse. I'm like 20 pages from the end. That's my update. It's so weird finishing this book because like I've been doing this video challenge thing for 6 weeks and you guys like didn't know what I was doing this whole time. Now you finally like get to know, and I finally get to tell you about the books I was reading and put out this video, and it's exciting. Even though not loving Crooked Kingdom, don't hurt me. Okay, final update. I'll do a little recap of everything tomorrow, but I just finished Crooked Kingdom. As long as it took me to get really started and invested in this, I feel like the latter half I got through really quickly. And review, it was fine. I don't want all my friends to hate me, but I just thought it was fine. It was okay. I'm giving it 3 stars. All right, here we are at the end of the experiment. I have read the 5 highest rated books on my TBR. Not That Bad, Dispatches from Rape Culture, Homegoing, Educated, Crooked Kingdom, and The Nightingale. If you skipped forward just to this part, I'll recap the ratings. So Not That Bad, I gave 5 stars. Homegoing got 2 stars. Educated got 2 stars. Crooked Kingdom got 3 stars. And The Nightingale got 2 stars. So something I think is interesting is the one book that wasn't already sitting on my TBR shelf got the highest rating. And these books that have been on my TBR shelf for a while or were sent to me that I didn't ask for, they were all, I mean, 3 stars isn't lowly rated, but you know, I'm not in love with any of these. I guess technically agree with the high rating, but here's the thing. I can say with confidence that I recommend all of these books because they still have such high ratings. Obviously they worked for somebody, and like I'm so happy that they did. And honestly, like I'm not surprised by any of the results here. I really did go in hoping I would love everything, even if I thought maybe I wouldn't. This I assumed would be really highly rated, and it was. This one, like I was hoping I would like, but the fact that it was historical fiction, I thought that would work against it, but only a little bit. Like I thought, maybe I'll just give it 3 or 4 stars and I'll love everything about it except the fact that it's historical fiction. Educated being 2 stars did not surprise me. I guess maybe a little bit it did, because just nonfiction I don't pick up very much, and when I do, I actually do enjoy it a lot. But this one wasn't on my TBR, so like I wasn't like, ooh, I'm gonna love and connect with this nonfiction so much. The Nightingale, like, I don't think anybody thought I was gonna love this. I don't know why I didn't unhaul it before now. And now I feel like, controversially, I might actually head into that TBR closet and ditch a lot of the other historical fiction that's been sitting there for a very long time. And the last one, I guess the most surprising here, is Crooked Kingdom. But at the same time, I'm not shocked by not being completely in love with this. I don't know, am I the only one? Like I guess I am the only one. I just didn't connect with this the same way. I didn't have the same feelings towards it. There were a couple moments in here that really impressed me. They were shocking or adorable or hilarious or something. But in general, it's just like kind of repetitive, like somebody being kidnapped and then people having to go find them and save them, and somebody getting kidnapped and them having to escape, and somebody getting kidnapped. I don't know. And maybe I'm just in that phase again where I'm not loving fantasy. But that's it. Those are the 5 books. I would love to hear your thoughts down below, which I almost guarantee will be different opinions than mine, just based on obviously where these books came from and the whole reason I was reading them. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Honestly, I've been filming this video for so long that I can't really recall how well I have explained what these books are. So if you don't know, like, put in some time and go look them up on Goodreads and see if you want to read them, and don't just take my opinion for, I don't know, the only opinion. Like, obviously there is merit to all of these stories and experiences, so give them a try if you feel so inclined, and I'll see you later. Bye!